Suffering, that's what it is. That's the way you get every place you want to get in life. It's just pure pain, going through it every single day. You feel burned out by the time you're about to go to bed, and your brain just can't really take it anymore, and you're completely miserable. And then you wake up the next day, and you're like, for flip's sake, I have to do this again. This is awful. And I'm not saying this in some kind of glorious manner that, oh, this is so motivational, oh, this is going to feel great at the end, the grind is all worth it. This is just the truth. It's basically a lifestyle where you have to commit to unadulterated horror for a good few months. And a lot of people like to say that you're going to have such a great time growing on your journey, but you're not going to. And that's the point of it. Because if it was a great time, then everyone would do it. But it's not. Therefore, not everyone does it. And that's why people have so much more respect for people who have achieved that level of success, because they have actually went through the period of loneliness and torture that comes with becoming a different person. And I am in the middle of that stage right now, but I've mostly turned into a different person by now, I do believe. Though this may be my complacency talking, I'm pretty sure that I have amassed a good level of confidence and articulation, my ability to talk to people and express my thoughts in a cohesive manner that people can understand and not ramble on about too much. I'm able to pretty much express my thoughts in a way that myself 3 months ago couldn't have, and that was only because of the absolute suffering I went through, and it wasn't fun, but it was the answer, and that is the answer to life. Every single problem that I see in the world today, every single problem with individuals, within families, within friends, within everything, it comes down to a lack of willingness to go through pain, because everything good usually entails a lot of pain that you could do. So if you want to get a good physique, you'd have to go to the gym and break your body down until it builds itself back up stronger and bigger. That's how you build a good body, by putting yourself through some severe physical suffering for an extended period of time. And it's the same thing in psychological suffering. You become more thick skinned, and that's how you become, for example, in my particular endeavor, a business owner. It's just getting swamped on for a long time and actually getting destroyed, getting messed up, getting your feelings mashed again and again and again, like like it's with a mallet on a bloody tennis ball. You get destroyed again, and then you raise yourself back up stronger. And I'm not trying to be some inspirational motivational guru. This is, again, it's just telling the truth. That is the way to everything in your life. That is the gate to everything that you ever want. It's just the ability to go through extreme pain for a long period of time. Now, I watched the this guy called Charlie Morgan's Trials by Fire video a couple of months ago, and that was the first time I watched it, and I found it again today. But a couple of months ago, I thought, because I hadn't actually experienced the amount of pain needed to grow, that I had already went through a good bit of this pain, and I was just kind of uh, I wouldn't say I'd be glorifying myself, but it was like, yeah, I've sort of already done this, so I don't need to worry about it too much. But it's kind of cool how I'm so pain tolerant, and other people now are kind of just looking to get on the same path I've been treading for the last couple of years. No, it was not the case, man. It was not the case. Um, I had I had yet to go through a path of extreme torture that I could not know was imaginable. And I don't know, it might have something to do with my brain kind of just operating differently. Like, I don't feel, again, what other people feel. I don't have much oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, or endorphins. Like, when I exercise, I feel nothing but the pure physical pain, and I don't feel good about it afterwards ever. I don't feel good when I exercise, and I don't feel good when I do strenuous workouts. I don't particularly feel good at any point, yet for some reason my will still powers me through like a brutal workout every single morning, and going to the gym 5 days a week, or doing gym workouts that stress out my muscles. But I'm still willing to do it anyway. And the reason I've attained such a I, like you may not have noticed, but I'm kind of physically strong, and that's because I've been putting myself through physical hardship for the last couple of years. Like I'm pretty much well able to. I'd say that I could deadlift 100 kilograms without too much difficulty. Now, I'm not saying I'm stronger than anyone. I'm not saying that I'm great because I'm strong. I'm not saying that strength is the only way to life. Sorry, I have to make 20 disclaimers because people get so darn offended at every single thing you say about yourself that might not be perceived as terrible. Because we all have to be such self-deprecating softies who lick each other's wounds and look at each other's weaknesses. Like, that's really what's getting the world down these days. Like, we thrive in our weakness and we don't look at our strength enough. And thankfully, in the last few months, I've been exposed to some very helpful content on YouTube. The first was Hamza. I saw his channel over a year ago, and he basically told young men to stop being losers and start getting a life and build themselves up, become more valuable to society. And that hit me the first time, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is something that has to change. I have to suffer a bit. Now, I didn't know that suffering in particular was the key at that point, but I knew that I had to change and get out of my comfortable patterns, and so I did. So I took a 3-month dopamine detox, and it wasn't just 3 months, it was like for the rest of my life, but 3 months mainly I was just kind of isolating myself in my room and not doing much. I would talk to my sisters almost daily, but I wouldn't get to talk to them too much because our house is pretty divided. And I would also lie or no, sit on the chair for about like 3 hours and just think and think and think. I'd let myself on the phone for about an hour or two a day because I had some of more of Hamza's videos to watch, and that was really it. But for the most part, it was a pretty severe time, and I'd say that most people, because they actually do have good levels of the happy chemicals in their brain, that would have been easier for them, so it was more difficult for me. But that was just another level of suffering that built up my will even stronger. And I think that if other people were in my shoes, they would have been able to do the same thing as I, but their will wouldn't have been built up because of that. And because my will was built up so high, when I went into college, I realized I had this severe emotional instability problem where I would get pissed off if someone started as doing something as little as chewing close to my ear when I'm trying to work, and people were just so jolly and happy, and I was like, I cannot even fathom what these relationships are like, how you feel when you talk to each other. I don't know why you even have the motivation to do that. I don't know why you have the motivation to even get up in the morning and eat. Like, for my whole life, I don't know if I've ever actually had a will to live, but I've lived anyway, because why not? And plus I'm not weak either. Not saying that, you know, anyone's weak for doing anything so rash, but you know, I don't give up ever, so I just would never ever give up. I vowed that I would never do anything to harm myself when I was younger, and I'm never going to do that because I don't think I would be doing myself a moral justice by doing that. So I would rather suffer like crazy and go down in the books of history than have a bit of an easier time now where I just delude myself and do something that's counterproductive to the overall sustainability of my general lifestyle in the years to come. So I basically have always, for the last couple of years, been optimizing my future for my future self. What I mean by that is, even when I was in school, while I wasn't building my business and I wasn't developing my physique, I was doing what I thought would be the best solution for my future self, which was what my parents told me, basically, or what my mother told me. Get a really good job and get a high paying one, and go to college, get a degree, and to do something good in maths, and you get paid like over possibly 100 grand a year for that. So then when I was in transition year, which is basically the year where you're 15 to 16, I think. It's right after this state exam anyway, and it's like the fourth year of secondary school. So we were looking up careers, and I looked up the career actuary, and I saw that it paid 320,000 or up to 320,000 a year, and I was just, my eyes were absolutely glowing at that. Like, I thought that was amazing. I was so happy when I realized, oh my gosh, that would be just amazing. Imagine how my life would be if I had 320,000 euro in my bank account every single year. That would be incredible. I'd be so happy with that. and I wasn't motivated at all by the actual doing the maths, becoming one of those people who crunch numbers and talk about insurance and, doing all these probability statistical calculations. And I pursued the idea of going after that for a while because I thought my future self might be happy because of that. And you know what? Might have been a decent life, who knows? Problem is, I would have to wait about 10 years to make that. You know why? Because after you go to college, there's like 7 or 8 of these actuarial exams you have to pass, and you have to work and work and work basically until you've studied for all of those exams, and then you have to pass them. And then now I don't have any preconceived notions about my inability to pass those exams. I think I'd be well able to pass them easily. I could get them studied for in about 2 weeks. That part wouldn't be too bad. It's just I don't like long time frames at all. I just really don't like them. Like I don't like the prospect of getting something in 10 years time because I work now. I don't like the prospect of being safe and comfortable while I'm still dependent on the state to pay me or anything. I don't like that. What I do like is taking, now this is going to sound cringe as heck, but bear with me. I do like taking my life into my own hands and doing something that will actually get me to the level of income which will be 320 grand a year without the 40% tax that's taken off me, causing me to only make about 250 grand a year, which is still quite a bit, but you're taking about 70 grand a year from me, so what really are you anyway? So you basically see all these things that the government are telling you, oh, you can have a good career. Society is telling you, oh, starting a business is risky. Oh, teachers are telling you, you better stick with the system or you're going to pay for it. All I've been hearing throughout secondary school is how bad the other students' lives are going to be because they're not studying. And I thought, gosh, I feel bad for them because they're just so stupid and that they're not going to actually do anything. And also, I'm sorry if you're watching this and you are my what would they call it, classmate. I don't mean that at all in a bad way. I just mean like my brain, if you didn't study, then my brain would kind of place you into this category where it'd be like, okay, yeah, that person is kind of messing themselves up. Nothing I can really do about that. Yeah, sorry about that. But that's just causality. They were put in a position where they didn't see it right to study at all, and I was put in a position where I saw it right to spend my life studying. So it was basically a situation where there was no control over that anyone had, and nobody really has control over anything, because if I was in their shoes again, I would not magically choose to go on the path I am now because my current brain sees it as the right path. I would be exactly on the path that they're on now because I would have their circumstances and their brain, and those are the only two things that influence anything: circumstances and your brain. That's it. And if someone has their own brain, they have their own brain, they don't have yours. And if someone has their own circumstances, it's their own circumstances and not yours. So maybe if you switched one of them, then it would be interesting to see, like, what if they had my brain? But then again, the brain is directly dependent on the circumstances, so it would kind of be a pointless question, because like how would my brain get into their head? Like, how would I have been born then there when the genetic makeup of my family would possibly be dependent on the area or location I'm in? Though maybe I'm just I don't know. I might just be going too deep into the whole thing. But anyway, basically, suffering is the way to go, and I'm not just taking the safe path, even though I'm kind of still on it. Like I got pretty decent results in my first year of exams, and I'm also in the process of building a business, and I'm also, now I'm saying building a business, but I don't see myself as a CEO or a business owner, or any of those flashy terms. Entrepreneur, big boss, maybe managing director, because that's kind of what I am technically, but it's not even an official business yet, so not yet. But anyway, um, I'm on the safe path now, still, in both directions, and it's just a case of looking to sustain that. I'm not going to drop out of college because I have a plan for the future, basically where I help people around the world, or around the country with studying mathematical topics. But again, not a topic for another day, that is. Now I'm probably going to go into cases where people do not accept suffering. This is a case of delusion where you constantly try to prop yourself up higher and higher. You sort of depend on other people for kind of what's it called, gratification. Yeah, you depend on other people for gratification and approval. You don't really rely on yourself much because there's not much of a basis or a foundation there, and the only thing that can build character is suffering itself. So if you don't have the character built by suffering, then you are going to sort of just rely on each other. And I can see this now clear as day with people who are like they're kind of just posting, and I'm not saying I'm better than anyone, because a lot of people watching this video would say, oh, you think you're better than everyone, but I don't really care about you, to be honest. I really just don't care. If you think I'm better than you, then I am. Or if you think I think I'm better than you, then I am. So self-fulfilling prophecy there. But yeah, don't really know what else to say now. If you do want to have a chat, you can. And yeah, basically the last few months I've been going through some pretty intense suffering, and it's been the only thing that's actually improved my social skills. Going to college did not do that because I didn't really join any societies. I was too busy focusing on other stuff, like kind of the wrong aspects of building a business. But now I can talk. I'm still not well socialized, but I can talk, which is good. And I'm not nervous too much either. A little bit nervous in some situations, because it doesn't matter if you talk to 100 business owners. If you don't know how to talk to your own peers, then it doesn't really make a difference. Anyway, I'll see you.